So, we just completed Unplayed of the letter L. Granted, there are a lot of M games, like games starting with M, not mature rated games, but games starting with the letter M in their title. But once we get through those, we'll be halfway through the series. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I started the series, what was it, like 2 years ago? And we're making progress for sure. Um, there were some good games in starting with L. Uh, the first one that we played was Labyrinth City, Pierre the Maze Detective, which was a fun game for what it was. I think it was just more for kids, but it was a cute little like find your way through the maze game. And find all little secrets and things. Yeah, it was cute. Um, One game that we played a lot of was Lacuna, which was the sci-fi noir adventure. I don't know if you guys remember, I played that for like 2 weekends straight, and then I got upset because I made a mistake. And the one bad thing about Lacuna, or depends if you think it's good or bad, but you can't go back and change your choices. So I was feeling upset and like, oh no, I am gonna get a less than good ending now. And so then I didn't want to play through it because I didn't want my characters to suffer anymore. Which doesn't make any sense. But. Um, but I do think Lacuna was a tops, like, well designed game. I would recommend it. Especially if you like kind of darker noir stories and aren't overly empathetic like me and are just like, no, I don't want my characters to be hurt. We played Lake, which was another game from the Simple Life bundle. Um, that was an interesting little story. Uh, you were a mail carrier in 1986, and you know, delivering mail for your dad who was on vacation for 2 weeks, and returned to your small town after not being there for a long while. And yeah, that was sort of interesting. Sorry, I'm looking at Superbase's chats. I have to make this better so that I can see chat. There we go. There we go. There we go. That works. Um, people like the letter A besides T. I'm not sure how backloaded the list will be. Yeah, yeah. Saying that I'm like almost halfway through. Yeah, absolute gem of its genre. Probably. I mean, that could have been applied to either Labyrinth City or Lacuna, honestly. Lake, I'm not so sure about. Like, it was fine. And I think it's a kind of relaxing sort of game. It did seem like you could have Lacuna, yes, yes, Lacuna, absolute gem of its genre, yes. Um, but yeah, Lake was just okay for me. I felt no real strong desire to like see the end of the story, even though it didn't seem like it was a super long game. Um, but if you like a more, you know, grounded, realistic kind of story that doesn't have any like supernatural twists or anything like that, it might be for you. It did seem it was pretty decently designed for what it was. Um, I also tend to not like games where I have a job. And this was a game in which I had a job. Uh, it's like if I do work, I want to get paid for it. You know what I mean? One of the bigger surprises was Lake of Voices. It was a free horror visual novel on Steam, and I played and got a couple of endings. And it was like you can save anyone, but you can never save everyone. So there's no ending where everybody lives. And I thought that it had pretty well developed characters. The world building was decent. Like, definitely, if you like visual novels, give it a try. Like, it's free. There's no harm. Dark Legion says, give bits to letters for she is getting paid for set game. What? Um, Following that, we had Lakeburge Legacies, which was a quirky city simulator. You not only had to like produce items, but you also needed to like match make your citizens so that they would make babies. Oh, that was him trying to troll. Got it. Went over my head. Yeah, it was a cute game. I played it for 3 hours. I don't know if I would go back to it necessarily. Um, but I would say it was one of the more like engaging city sims that I've played. So I would say you said that I felt like the game felt like a job. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Giving bits to letters so that I'm getting paid for the mail delivery game. Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be funny. Um, yeah, let's see here. Fair enough, fair enough. The last Campfire. It was part of the Unparalleled Puzzler bundle. I do think that this was probably a good game, but I only played it for like 45 minutes because I got motion sick. And I only got to like puzzle 2 or something and couldn't solve it. And I was just like, why am I making myself suffer? So, if you like puzzlers, it might be a good one, but I kind of wasn't able to really get into it because I was feeling ill. Battle Chef Brigade. I got this game on Steam for $3. It was like super discounted. And it's a beat 'em up and then kind of a puzzler when you're doing the cookie. So it's a beat 'em up for gathering the ingredients. You're killing the monsters to get your ingredients, and then you go back and do like matching puzzle to do the cooking. I felt like it was trying to do a lot of things and didn't really succeed at any of them because of that. It had cute, like, anime style. The plot was kind of cute, like, interesting, but I only played it for an hour and then got bored. Yeah, I think it was kind of a jack of all trades and master of none. Um, but yeah, I didn't feel too bad about paying $3 for it, but I probably wouldn't pay full price. Uh, oh, after that we played Later Alligator. Later Alligator, I played for 3 hours. I got an ending. There's apparently multiple endings that you can get, but um, it was hilarious. It was a hand drawn game with like little mini games, most of which were pretty simple. But after my 3 hours, I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm done because I knew I wouldn't be able to 100% it because some of the mini games were going too fast for me to process. So like there was a Flappy Bird game that I was like, I'm never going to be able to get this. Um, but I was able to, get through it even without beating all the games, all the mini games. And the characters were just so funny. Like it was a very funny game, very very funny. And I would recommend it. After that, we had a visual novel called Later Daters. It was a romance and visual novel that took place in a retirement home. It was fine. I only played it like an hour because I was getting a little bit bored with it. I don't know if maybe you were gonna be able to hook up with people. Letters fought through her motion sickness just to experience more gators. That's true. That is true. I fought through some of the overstimulation stuff because that's how enjoyable Later Gators was. Later Alligators was. Later Daters, on the other hand, didn't have any motion sickness, but was just a little bit like meh. It was a little meh. Um, like, I mean, I know they're completely different genres, but I felt like Lake of Voices was much better quality being free than later Daters was. Now, one's a romance visual novel and one's a horror visual novel, so it's, you know, two different genres, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, it was fine, but, like, I probably wouldn't recommend. I felt like it was an interesting idea, but maybe wasn't executed super great. Oh my god, this next game I don't remember at all. That's probably not a good sign. Learning Factory. It was part of the Level Up and Learn programming game Humble Bundle. Uh, what did I say here? I said crafting, but where's the programming? Perhaps it came later. Oh, this was the one where you were building the supplies and stuff for the cats and selling stuff to all the cats. No, it wasn't coding sequences. It was you were like making factories to like build yarn balls and stuff, and these cats would come in and like give you money to buy the yarn balls. It was a very odd game. You want to know one thing? What do I want to know? What? Yeah, I think I quit it after about 45 minutes. I think maybe the programming and automation and stuff were probably going to come later. You can't remember anything isn't the worst of the L games. Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. Um Oh, this one was fun. Legend of the Keepers. So, I haven't played it since, but I had never played a dungeon defender before. And I felt like this was a pretty good introduction to the genre. Basically, it was a roguelike dungeon defender, so you were being like the monsters trying to prevent the heroes from progressing through the dungeon. You basically you either made them so afraid that they ran away or killed them. They had like a little tier bar that was like, oh, we're gonna run away, or a little red bar that was like their health. So you could kind of go for one of two strategies. You could either try to scare them away or kill them, and either way, you're just trying to prevent them from getting through. And you also had like HR type of things. Your monsters needed to have vacation days and stuff or something. Like they were it was interesting. It was interesting. I enjoyed Legend of the Keepers. I haven't played it again yet, but I might, because that was pretty enjoyable. After that, we finished so that was finishing the LEs. I did a little detour after Christmas because I got a couple games on Steam for Christmas. One of them was Cassette Beasts. It was an RPG monster collector with good music. I was kind of hoping I would feel more connected to Cassette Beasts because I really enjoyed Pokemon when I was young. I liked playing, I like 100%ed Pokemon Heart Gold, for instance. And then I also enjoyed, some people on the stream for a long time may remember when I played Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I actually played that on stream. I just didn't connect with Cassette Beats in the same way. And I played it for an hour, and basically finished like the first level, but I don't know. I didn't feel like super connected with it. Maybe I just didn't like connect with its quirk. You 100%ed a game that came out a decade after you started the genre. You feel dated. Yeah, so I was a little bit disappointed. Maybe I'll revisit it at some point. It did seem like well designed, like quite good, but I didn't feel that, oh, I want to play more kind of thing. And then I played Dyson Fold, which was kind of like a roguelike dice roller similar to Dicey Dungeons. And I would just play Dicey Dungeons. Like Dyson Fold was fine. It was totally fine. I enjoyed playing it the hour that I played it. But Dicey Dungeons is better. So, if you're gonna play one, I'd recommend Dicey Dungeons. Going on back to the L's, did I ever get to the end of Dicey Dungeons? No, I don't think so. I unlocked a lot of the characters, but I kind of stopped playing it after a little bit. Dicey Dungeons ending is so good. Oh, I'll have to revisit it. I'll have to revisit it because I think I only played Dicey Dungeons for like maybe 6 hours. I can actually look. If I go to my Steam, little detour here. Yeah, I've played Dicey Dungeons for 6.7 hours, and I last played it March 8th, 2024. So it's been almost a year since I played it. So that's kind of like the good thing about doing the Unplayed series is that I'm playing a lot of different games that I, otherwise maybe wouldn't expose myself to. But the bad thing is I'm spending a lot of time playing all these different games and not like revisiting some of the better things. Unlike most roguelites, there is a definitive ending to Dicey Dungeons. Do they kill the lady? The lady who deserves to die, who's like, oh yeah, you can escape, except you'll never land on that. You do not spoil. Fair, fair, fair. Fair, fair, fair. Don't spoil, don't spoil. Getting back to the L's, we had... Oh, she may be involved in the ending. Okay, cool. The next game we played was Library of Ruina. It was a rated mature game that was a deck builder, but it was very morbid and very complicated. And I did not like how we were murdering people and turning them into books. It was not my jam. I did play it for an hour 45, so it did last longer than many other games, but the world building was really interesting too. Like, if you like dark stuff and you're not afraid of a game that maybe is a little bit challenging to on-ramp onto, it seemed like it was pretty good quality. It's just not my jam. After that, I played a free visual novel called Life After Magic, which again tops both what was the other one called? Lake of Voices and Life After Magic. I would highly recommend both to people who like visual novels. Specifically, if you enjoyed Sailor Moon, play Life After Magic. It has a fair amount of referential humor, and basically it's about what happens when the magical girls have saved the day and now they're 20 and have to get like real jobs. And it's fantastic. I played a little bit of the extra post game content too, and very much enjoyed it. I think I completed it off stream actually, because it looks like I only played the first hour 30 minutes. You kind of pieced out midway on that one to play your MMO. You're surprised that one turned around. Yeah. Yeah, I think I maybe stopped playing it after 90 minutes because I was like, oh, it's a free visual novel, so I don't want to spoil the whole thing. If you want to see the ending, you should play it yourself. I actually played it, and then I played the post-game content too. Slow startup gets better. Yeah. Yeah. Having the all of her friends kind of get established and like what their characters were. And I also enjoyed having the option to like romance them. I ended up picking who did I pick? It's been a little bit, so I'm like trying to remember the character names. I picked the carpenter to start a relationship with and was able to achieve it relatively easily. So I would say this isn't like a highly difficult, visual novel. It's mainly like, who do you want to spend time with? But it's an enjoyable story and definitely great for being free. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. I completed it. After that, we played Life is Strange, which was a 2015 classic visual novel. Does it hold up? No. Sorry to be harsh, but no, it did not hold up. I got very frustrated because it was the same problem of, there's a fence that is yay high that we could clearly hop over, and the hero's like, well, there's a fence. Even you don't think Life is Strange holds up. We moved away from Telltale style visual novels for a reason. Yeah. Yep. So probably nothing more to say about that. Following that, we played Little Orpheus, which was a fantastical story-driven platforming adventure. I will say, this game had a really funny story, It was very referential again to, classic adventure things like A Thousand Leagues Under the Sea and what else? What else did it reference? They went into the jungle. They went into like outer space. Like all sorts of great things. You just say, P.S. Hard to hate on Life is Strange for the baseline price of free. Play it may or may not be for you. That's true. That's true. The part one of Life is Strange was free, and I played it. I didn't finish it, but I played it. Figured out it wasn't for me. No harm, no foul. I wasted an hour. Like, who cares? So could be worth giving Life is Strange a shot. But yeah, Little Orpheus, the platforming was easy, but that's why I liked it. So there are a lot of people who were like, oh, this game is so boring because it's so easy and like meant for little kids or something. And I'm like, yes, this is why it's mine. I played the entire thing on stream. I beat it on stream. Yep. It was pretty great. And I played the bonus story afterward too. So yeah, I enjoyed Little Orpheus. I loved the humor in it. The narrative was definitely stronger than the gameplay, but the gameplay being as simple as it was made it so that I could finish it without like getting too stuck. So I liked that. After that, we played Littlewood, which was a simple town building and farming game. I believe this was the one where you awoke and had amnesia, but everyone was like, yeah, you saved us from the Dark Wizard. Oh, we're sorry you don't remember anything about that, but yeah, now you're in retirement and we're building this town and help us build it. It was fine, but I would rather play Stardew Valley. Um, Sometimes less is more. Yeah. And this was not one of those times. Yeah. I mean, let's say you were interested in something like Stardew Valley, but you didn't want to do any of the like mining or fighting in the caves. Like Littlewood didn't seem to have that. It seemed to be like little simple fishing, um, simple gathering, selling things at market, building things, interactions with NPCs. I also felt like the NPCs were a little bit boring, but to be fair, I didn't interact with them a ton. So yeah, like I don't know, Stardew is such a high bar, and I put so many hours into that game. But yeah, so that's kind of I felt like Littlewood was a little bit middling. But if you're looking for a simpler game than Stardew, it might be for you. After that, we played Loop Hero, which I spent about 3 hours on. I might actually play this again. I really enjoyed Loop Hero. It's another roguelike deck builder. And you're, kind of marching around in this loop and you're creating this map as well. It's really hard to describe, but Letters liked Loop Hero more than you. It tells you a lot for a game's accessibility. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Um, do I like games that are more accessible? I mean, probably. So funny. My boyfriend called me a hardcore gamer the other day. He was like, "Oh yeah, she's such a big gamer," and I'm like, "I feel like that's not true. I play a lot of games, but I'm like not good. I'm only good at a select few." I do like more accessible games. That's often a good thing for the game to be. Yes. You gave it a B. She gave it more. Yeah. I enjoyed Loop Hero quite a bit and I'd probably play it again. I only played it this month, so I haven't really gotten a chance to play it again, but consider your most played game on Steam is ESO. Yes. And see, I tend to, like, I would say that I'm a gamer, but I have like a select few games that I put like a ton of time into. That's why this Unplayed series is a little bit out of my comfort zone. But I started it because I kept buying games on Humble Bundle then never playing them. So it was almost like a little bit of a punishment to myself. But at the same time, without it, I don't know that I would have discovered that I liked certain games. Letters Games Lexia? Letters Game Lexia. What is that? I don't know what that is. But yeah, I've put a lot of time into like Magic. A fair amount of time to Marvel Snap. A lot of people who play Marvel Snap, though, I swear do not make logical choices. Like, they should concede and don't. So people are not really great at managing their cubes, I feel like, in general in that game. But maybe that's because I'm not usually at the higher levels. Because I don't play it enough. Dyslexia joke, we may be mixing things up. I play a lot of Magic. Obviously, I play Puzzle League. Might also be letters you never fall for a bluff ever. Oh. I don't know if that's a joke or not. But oh, I sort of miss when someone is bluffing. Yes. Yeah. I don't play poker or anything like that because I'm not great at reading people. But I do like playing Magic though, and people bluff in Magic. But I know Magic so well that I'm able to kind of gauge if it's possible that someone could have something. You aren't wrong, yeah. But it's more of like a logic thing than like reading their face, obviously, because most of the time I play on Arena, where I can't see the other person's face. I feel like I got a little distracted there. I've been thinking about getting back into, or trying to get back into Puzzle League. Do you remember Super Base when I used to try to speedrun that, and then I couldn't because my hands suck? I was thinking that maybe I should try it again, because my hands have been better enough now that I've been able to like play piano and stuff, so maybe they'd be better enough that I could do it again. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to chase things like that. I don't want to hurt myself again. Correct, which is why you thought about seeing if we could get Sky to put it on Mercy Kill. Oh, right! I guess you brought it up a couple days ago. Maybe that's why it was in my mind to begin with. That probably was. It was probably you who brought it up. That makes sense. Yeah, I was re-watching some of my old videos, and my boyfriend was impressed. So now I want to impress him more. See if I could pull out one sub 20-minute run. Oh, sub 20-minute, like, because on hard mode, I was regularly doing sub 10 minutes, but yeah, I guess if I were to do like very hard or something, sub 20-minute run. Mercy Kill usually set a time generous to your personal best. Ah, got it. Yeah. Okay. Well, rolling it back to the L's here. Like 50-50, you'll make this time or not. You wouldn't chase a PB. Okay, so like maybe 15 minutes then. If I was like doing really poorly or something. Take a little bite. There you go. Yeah. So, continue on. Letters. Lord of the Rings. Adventure card game. Kind of like Hearthstone, but more complicated. If you like Hearthstone and you like Lord of the Rings, you might enjoy this. If you don't like Lord of the Rings, you probably won't enjoy it, because unfortunately, the villains and stuff are very generic. It was just a little bit meh. I spent about 90 minutes on it, and it was fine. And it's a shame that the Lord of the Rings PvP is dead as well. So, Lost Ember was do not continue because of motion sickness. It was an atmospheric exploration adventure. Actually, no. It wasn't because of motion sickness. I'm lying. It was because the controls sucked. I was having difficulty when I was shifting into different animals, being able to control them. The wolf I was able to control just fine, which is kind of like the default, but I was having trouble when I was like being flying creatures with how to like steer them. And I quit when I was pushing up and the hummingbird was going down. And I was like, I don't understand this. And I wasn't interested enough in the story either. So Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Maybe on a controller it would make more sense. The next game we played was Love Letter. That was a strategy card game that was digitized. I enjoyed playing this. I think it would be more fun playing with people you know in a physical setting. Um, it was, you know, kind of simple. I kind of wish there was like DLC where you could like add more cards to make it more complicated. It was just very simple. Um, so there's only kind of so much you could do. After that, scrolling. We played the games that we played today, which were Luck Be a Landlord, and that was pretty enjoyable. I might play that more. It's a little bit slot machiney, but in a fun way. Yeah, I like that. You can have the option of building different runs, and yeah, it was just interesting. I enjoyed it. Luna's Fishing Garden, not as much. I probably won't continue with Luna's Fishing Garden. I felt like it was a little bit grindy. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't like games that are super open where it's like, oh yeah, and you get to decorate and da 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 da. It's like, no, like advance the plot for me. And it seemed like this didn't have a lot of plot. I either need like a lot of strategic decisions happening or a lot of plot happening. And Luna's Fishing Garden did not have either. It was a very cute game though. Very cute and relaxing. I think great for what it was. Probably great that it had the two different options for fishing where it's like, oh yeah, you can either actually play it as a game or like basically it's free. Um so yeah, I could see it being enjoyable to some people. And that was the L's, man. That was it. Um it took us a while to get through the L's. I think maybe because there was a lot of changes happening in my life. I moved and all this various stuff. But let's celebrate by playing a little bit of Magic, I think. MTGA has plot for her, yeah. Did the L's overall feel like a win or an L? Ooh, that's a good question. There were some real winners in here. I very much I enjoyed two out of the three visual novels, and the ones that I enjoyed were the free ones. So that was pretty great. Loop Hero was pretty great. Lacuna was pretty great. Later Gators was pretty great. Little Orpheus was pretty great. Yeah, I'd say I think the L's were a win. I think the L's were a W overall. Um, there were very few games that I was just like, what the heck is this? There were a couple, but you know. Uh, okay. So I'm gonna swap over to some Magic now, I think. Here we go. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Celebrate L's are done. Do. Magic the Gathering. Ba ba da ba ba ba. I'm gonna maybe run a little short ad break while I do this. Do.